Hi Sparkles of Light, it's Cherry Enchantress, and this is your daily dust for Monday, March 12th if you're watching in real time, but it can also be a timeless reading, something that you just stumble upon for some special messages using the law of attraction to attract you to this reading. Maybe it was the thumbnail that got you here. Maybe it's the fairies. By the way, I am in a series of fairy oracle decks. I was just reading from the creator of the best-selling Good Fairies, Bad Fairies. So this is one of my favorite fairy decks, but it's still yet another unusual take on them. The Fairies Oracle by Brian Froud. He's the guy that created the dark crystal creatures. All right, and it's a very big container holding a book, a nice book, and smallish cards, or regular size cards. I probably should store this separately because it's such a nice book. And then the cards are in this very, but it's kind of a collector's because I feel like this. I think last time I looked, this Brian Froud's Fairy Oracle is kind of high value. The only thing is that the cards are kind of flimsy. They're not really very high quality cardboard. They don't have any. They have a little protective coat, but not too much. Anyway, but the book is awesome. And the images are awesome. So let me just run through them real fast. Like you have the singers, which are this really ethereal types of fairies, and then you have more of the kind of gnome type of fairies. And then you have the fairies, the very whimsical with what you see, what you think of fairies with their wings and everything. And the meanings and the writings on each of these are real interesting. Oh, she likes to be here. Maybe we'll take her. But anyway, I'm going to shuffle and take 3 cards. Pick 3 cards from the middle, and we'll get a collective message. I haven't yet had my coffee or breakfast, and so my stomach is making noises. Hopefully you didn't hear that. We have, oh nice, the Piper. The other thing about this deck is kind of hard to read the writing, but I think I got that one, the Piper. And then we have Indy. Oh, she's cute. And 24 is my favorite number, and that's the love number. Ooh, the Singer of Courage. Beautiful. All right, let's zoom on in and see what we get. So the Piper is all about music and order and harmony and seduction and empathy. The secret melody of the Piper drifts through our lives, offering a means to communicate from the heart and without words. His music conveys our emotions to one another, emotions that are audible only in the listening ear of our hearts. His approach to us is gentle and wordless. He may send us his melody through the whisper of leaves, the rustle of grass, the song of a bird, the hum of a city traffic, the buzz of a refrigerator, or a whir of a computer. And by the way, if you haven't seen the movie Autumn Rush, you should watch it because that's exactly how this works, how music works. It's in everything around us. He asks that we listen to the world around us, especially to the unspoken words of others, humans and fairies, plants and trees. Among the other things that Piper offers us is the ability to bring him our sorrows and pain in form of music like the blues, so that he may help us to heal them. Sing a sad song to this fairy and he will add to it the energy of cleansing and healing, if we are open to healing. His natural music also offers us tranquility if we take the time to be still and listen to it. The Piper's music can be seductive and attractive, even magnetic. He lures us with our own daydreams. Sometimes we allow the music of Piper to enthrall us into illusion, especially the illusion of control over that which we cannot control. However, if we see that illusion, our own self-deceit, to break through into greater truth, it has served its real purpose. He calls to us asking that we listen to him, to the fairies, to each other's hearts. His piping may even seem elusive, hard to hear, diffused, yet it's very clear, and it brings us the meaning of our lives. Working on developing more order, harmony, and beauty in your life, well, then you are singing to the tune of the piper and becoming more like him as you do. To get what you want on this day specifically, but maybe in general, the piper recommends that you try polite requests and gentle, patient persuasion, and then wait quietly, welcoming for it to come to you. Seek harmony and tranquility in yourself and the world around you. Use tenderness and gentleness. It's like getting more honey bees get whatever, by being sweet instead of being, sticky. This card speaks of a time of harmony, creativity, and increasing order. It tells of communication without words, the music of empathy and the awareness of feelings and concerns of others. This is a time to pay attention to the subtlety of others' expressions of feelings and ideas. Look past the surface and listen as you would to a beguiling melody on the very edge of hearing. I'm seeing, instead of getting immediately defensive to something and making it about you, listen beyond your interpretation of it, like see the person and why they might be saying something, see their feelings and the why of it, not so much that they're actually trying to put something onto you per se. They have something that's coming out of them. He also plays melodies of your dreams, which may be filled with meaning and importance, and then he leaves it up to us to understand what they mean. This may also be a good time to be aware that others may be listening to us with sensitivity and clarity. Have you noticed that, people are just really good listeners? They sometimes they repeat what you say because they've really been listening to you. Maybe that's the kind of person you are. Maybe the piper's just saying good job, keep doing that. Or your job may have something to do with a counseling or therapy where you're actually listening very carefully and you're making such a difference and change in a person's life because of that. So if you do that, it feels like, it's like they may, you're hearing what they're truly saying more clearly than you do yourself, and that's it makes a person feel very special when that happens. This card could also signify musical talent too, or ability, or maybe suggesting the use of music in some way is important at the present time. And so let's see what indie is talking about. Maybe indie music or indie tarot card decks, which is kind of like when people use the word indie these days, for the tarot cards at least, indie deck, it's like saying that it's homemade, it's very fresh, it's very raw, it's very connected to the creator. It's less meant for this mass appeal, but more of a specific appeal. But sometimes, what was once sort of a personal interest turns into a lot of people enjoying it. But this indie is about commitment and decision making. And this is a person who's kind of going back and forth about their decision making. Also, it has to do with commitments, like whether they want to commit or not. It could be maybe somebody who has a little bit of phobia to commitments. If you don't get him on the wish, you might catch him on the wash, but probably not, because by the time you think you've got a commitment from him, he swung the other way again. Poor Indy, he can't decide between this and that, or is this the that and the this. If he had just more information, if he just had some kind of guarantee about the outcome, if only he could be certain about things. Well, he can't. That isn't how life is. Indy sits on our shoulders as we wobble around trying to make a decision, and we just think, we've about got it. He mutters, but what if? And very likely we dissolve into confusion again. Decisions make him nervous because they involve commitment, and Indy seems to be frightened of that. What if he makes the wrong decision and ruins his or someone else's life? If he makes no decision, dithering forever, and that causes ruin. I feel for Indy, and not only because I'm a Libra, so the author is a Libra, and I'm Libra rising, so I feel for him too. For he is the only one of the fairy challengers who doesn't know what we should be doing. That is, he knows we should be making our decision clearly and cleanly at the appropriate time, and he has some ideas about how we might more easily go about that, but he's not about himself as a good decision maker. Sometimes he whispers almost tearfully in my ear, you're going to drive me mad, if you just don't make a decision, if you don't make up your mind. There are many reasons why we hesitate when decision and action are appropriate. However, most of them boil down to fear of making a mistake, fear of harming others, fear of losing something of value to us, fear of harming ourselves, fear of responsibility, fear that we're simply not able to make a proper decision. We need to look honestly at our insecurities, recognizing them for what they are insecurities, not reality. Then we need to resolve what we can and set the rest in balance against what will surely happen if we continue to hesitate. Premature decisions and actions often create problems, but the lack of decision is a decision also, and one that creates its own set of misfortunes. And she's Libra, and my nodes are Aries and Libra, and my north node is Aries, and it's so hard for me to be impulsive or to take action sometimes because my Libra, my south node, my comfort zone is to procrastinate and go back and forth for a while before I make a decision. But a lot of times that impulsiveness is handy, it's important, it's necessary in certain scenarios, in certain circumstances, and the indecision can really get you into more trouble sometimes than it's helpful. So kind of it's important to use your intuition on the decision making of the day, and don't be too stuck in back and forth and weighing the pros and the cons. A little of that is fine, but too much of that can maybe, and on this particular day, is not something that's in your favor. All right, so let's go to see the singers of courage. So courage could be the reason that's given, the reason why you need or what you need in order to make this decision. So bravery, sublimation of fear, moral strength. So it's overcoming your fears. Basically, courage is not being fearless. It's doing something even if you're scared. And so you just have to realize, okay, acknowledge your fear and realize that that's just there, and you're going to do it anyway. You're going to be brave because life is about living, and life is about, I feel like maybe that's a collective thing right now. A lot of people are just taking it easy, taking it chill, not making any big, major, extreme decisions right now. And things are kind of going same old. It's when you make those big, courageous decisions that life gets a little topsy-turvy, right? So someone once said that courage is not the absence of fear. I just said that. That courage is not the absence of fear, but which enables us to experience fear and not be stopped by it. It is also what enables us to do what we believe to be right, even when there is pressure from others around us to do otherwise. It's what enables us to go head into the unknown or the perilous, where there are no guarantees or safety or security. I think about people jumping out of a plane, skydiving, like, that moment before you leap, that is like courage and fear battling right in that moment, but people do it, and the pleasure is great. The freedom and the free falling feeling is amazing, but there's still going to be a little bit, just a tinge of fear about the landing too. So you have the two that you have to be concerned of. You have to be the jumping, the pulling of the parachute at the right moment, and then the landing without hurting you or hurting anyone else. But you know what? I feel like for a lot of people, it's just plain worth it. It's worth it because do you want to have a life that's safe, or do you want to have a life that's exciting, or something in between? Like, a life that's comfortable and happy with a sparks of excitement throughout, like fireworks here and there. In our lives, we're often, even constantly, confronted with a new world, a new way of being in the new world, a new way of seeing, of being seen. Ordinary lives taking courage and rise above the ordinary and into the extraordinary takes even more courage. And one of the keys to courage is to consider the fear and find a way to let the energy of the fear itself power the action. That is true courage. Often people think of courage as being part of a high heroism. It is, but it also has its quiet hidden side as well. And that may require greater courage because we cannot expect the rewards of praise and approval for it. For example, no courage is needed to be unhappy and self-pitying. We do, for example, we do not need to be self-disciplined or wise for that, that's for sure. However, to open our hearts to the risk and the vulnerability of joy and trust requires all of those things, especially courage. Within each of us, there is a terrified inner mouse, and there is the brave inner hero. Either part of us can take over from the other. We get to choose which is in charge. The mouse is a magician with only one trick. It can cast an illusion that is as big as an elephant. Then fear nearly overwhelms us, but we still have a choice. Learning to live with and manage and reactivate animal within, like that primal energy, involves transforming emotions like rage and fear into courage through self-discipline and the help of the singer of courage. So we do have natural survivor's instinct, but we need to have more than just the survivor instinct. We need to live, right? We need to make choices that help us to grow and help us to learn and help us to really enjoy the world around us and to have exciting lives. To break through limiting beliefs, to awaken to greater possibilities and go for our objectives. We need to transcend our fears and accept the gift of courage. And I feel like that is the main message here. Although the beginning card about the Piper having to do possibly with music. It could be a musical career that you're pursuing. It could just be other things in your life that you're balancing and that there's a harmony here. The music in the air is maybe sending you to someone that's special, somebody that you feel so magnetically drawn to, but you have fears that's keeping you from that person. Or somebody has that feeling for you, somebody who's drawn to you, like in every thought and every word and every sound of music. They think of you and they're drawn to you, but they have to overcome this indecision and in order to make their way to you. So feel something like that to me. Anyway, I hope you like it. Faith, trust, and pixie dust.